You can go to the old Bible phrase, without vision, people shall perish.
Vision is the key. Vision is the key to future generations and the success of future generations.
When I look at Baton Rouge, I look at it through the eyes of my two young kids. But I'd certainly see it for them as a place that they can grow and prosper.
For my children, I envision Baton Rouge as a place that still has that sort of welcoming character.
You have to be able to plan ahead. You have to be able to map out a strategy. You have to be able to put that blueprint in place so you can move to the next step.
In my younger days, Baton Rouge was basically a one-horse town. Baton Rouge was extremely conservative. It was country. It did not want to go any further, did not want to be anything else.
It is really full of rich history, both from a political aspect as well as a cultural aspect.
Its history on the river, its history as a port, its history as a state capital.
When we have two great universities in LSU and Southern.
I call it one of America's next great cities. When I talk about that, we can take a look at a town that's blessed to have the Mississippi River right here.
Exxon has done an excellent job of really educating the public.
From an economic perspective, we have an introduction of new industry in Baton Rouge.
Biomedical, alternative energy, digital media and film.
I think Baton Rouge is poised with a ton of potential. It has the opportunity to be a great, great city.
They have had a lot of success, but they have some characteristics of communities that if they don't fix these things, it leads them to fail.
You have to look at a lot of poor communities and look at the blight faced by a lot of communities and see how you can transition those areas out of a hopelessness area to an area of hope.
While the region is growing, Baton Rouge really hasn't. Other than after Katrina, the growth has kind of leveled off, and frankly, the state of Louisiana sees Baton Rouge as kind of pretty flat.
Young people are looking for jobs that can, not just so you can pay the mortgage, but sustainable jobs that you can live and have a comfortable living. We don't quite offer that here.
We've got to have more business here. We've got to create jobs.
How do we grow as a whole economically and make sure that our entire community thrives?
Well, I think there's a fundamental question here. Do you stay on the sidelines and complain about everything? Or do you get involved in the process and help to make a decision that's going to be for the betterment of all of the people?
The workshop process has evolved over time as a way to put planning in people's hands. I found that as a planner, I can bring a lot of tools, but I don't bring the solution. You find the solutions in people's brains in the place you work. And part of the workshop is to give them a representation of the city as it exists today, the parish as it exists today, and say, this is where you are today. Here's some options for you. There'll be different kinds of housing, there'll be different kinds of business, there'll be different kinds of transportation that people can invest in. And people sit around with their friends and neighbors and come up with a solution in 2 hours or so. And when you have 1,000 people express to you and work on a map and show you what they'd like their community to be, you can start to capture that common vision. And you get a lot of consensus, you get a lot of motion forward to achieve that vision.
When we talk about moving a town forward, we have to look at a lot of different things. Transportation, we have to look at how people live, we have to look at growth and how we have orderly growth. But you can only do that with people who are willing to embrace a new vision, move forward to make things happen, and work collectively to make sure that we're not status quo.
I never have been very politically correct in a lot of things I say and the way I say them. But to me, if you just sit on your butt and don't get involved, then all you're going to get is a fat butt. Now, we in Baton Rouge can't sit around and not get involved. We cannot. Our grandchildren can't stand that. They have no future if we just sit around and do nothing. We've got to stand up. We've got to walk forward, run forward, do what we've got to do. We've got to move as a people.
We have an opportunity to shape the way this community is going to grow, and I'm not going to miss the opportunity to have my voice heard.
This comprehensive plan will set the stage for so much of new development and growth and prosperity, and so we should all take part in it and be a part in it.
I think it's critical for everyone to be involved so they can say that they had a hand in making sure the vision for East Baton Rouge was moving everyone forward.
You get out and make your voice heard. Don't think because of your status in life or the color of your skin that people are not paying attention.
Get off of it and go get something done. Nobody can do it better than you yourself. Nobody can do anything better than you can yourself. Get up off of it and go do it yourself.